except through, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted ultimately to create the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Therefore they conclude that the whole world was created for his sake, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So how could this world that was created for the sake of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how could it call him to anything when it wasn't created except through barakah of him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And he goes on to say, Muhammadun Sayyid al-Kawnaini wa-Thaqalay ni wal-Fariqaini min Urbin wa min Ajami. And this is where we stopped for the brothers who sang the Nasheed, is where he went on to say that Muhammad, Lord of both worlds, Lord of both species, Lord of both assemblages, Arabs and all others. Right? So here he says, Muhammadun Sayyid al-Kawnaini. He is the master of both worlds, yani the dunya and the akhirah. And the word Sayyid, right, is sometimes that people have problems with this word nowadays, but it is something that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said in a hadith. He said, Ana Sayyidu walad Adam wala fakhr, that I am the Sayyid and the master of the son of Adam, and this is not boasting. Right? A Sayyid linguistically could have different meanings. It could mean someone that is a leader of his people. It could mean someone that has a lot of followers. Right? It could lead someone it could mean someone that is taking care of his people. Right? But every single meaning of Sayyid linguistically is combined in him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? So we say Sayyidina Muhammad. Right? He is our master. Right? He is our Sayyid. Right? His family are our Sada. Right? And we are in essence serving them. Right? Because everything is in essence, even people, whether it be someone be a mufti, whether it be someone be a qadi, whether it be someone be a da'i, whether it be someone be just an alim, whether it be someone have memorized in the Quran, every type of thing that people do is in essence service to the deen. Right? It's all at its essence the same. It's service. Right? This is why some people that choose to serve it by being doctors, other people choose to serve by being other types of professions. Right? And we can't be so narrow-minded to think that you can only serve Allah one way. Right? There's many different ways to serve Allah. Right? And in people that choose to have a profession like doctors or professors or engineers. Right? Some of them say that's even fard kifaya. Right? That everything that is needed for the Muslims to take care of their needs within the world could be a fard kifaya knowledge. Right? You need carpenters, you need woodworkers, and on and on and on. But the whole point is that what is the intention behind people doing these things? Right? Are they intending by having these professions, right, to serve the Muslims? Right? And the point is that everything could be a form of service. Right? Even if someone, right, it cleans a certain place, cleans a masjid. Right? That he intend by that to serve the Muslims and make a righteous intention behind each person's profession. So he says that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the Sayyid of the Kawnain. And as they say, that some of them say, it uses a proof that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they say that he said that La tusawwiduni, that it's a hadith that he said that don't say that I'm a Sayyid. Right? And actually they say this is one of the hadith that is mawdu'. Right? And it's not a hadith from him sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the proof is that it has corrupt Arabic. Right? If you wanted to say that don't say that I'm a Sayyid, you would say La tusayyiduni. Excuse me. There's a hadith that says La tusayyiduni. Right? And it's a corrupt hadith, because if you wanted to say it properly, you say La tusawwiduni. You wouldn't say Sayyiduni. And Sayyid comes from the word Sada Yasudu. Right? And so the second form is Sawwada Yusawwidu. It'd be La tusawwiduni. Right? But the lafaz is La tusayyiduni. And this is dealing with the scholars of hadith. How do they determine something that is a mawdu', is a fabricated hadith? They have a systematic way of, there's signs of how to determine something is a fabricated hadith or something is an authentic hadith, and that's obviously not the discussion of what we're involved in. So he says that he's the Sayyid of the two worlds, وَالثَّقَلَيْن, يعني the ins wa the jinn, وَالْفَرِيقَيْنِ مِنْ عُرْبٍ وَمِنْ عَجَمِ, right? And of the Arabs and the non-Arabs. Right? And this is the thing, that even though the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is an Arab, that many people think that when they become Muslim that they have to become Arab. Right? There's a big difference, right, between, right, loving the Arabs and thinking that you have to be an Arab. Right? This is very important for when we're dealing with da'wah and talking to non-Muslims, is that Islam doesn't call you to be an Arab. Right? That what Islam calls you to be is to be a Muslim. Now, there's certain things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has confirmed from the past culture of the Arabs, right? Of them being the fact that they used to make Hajj previously, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the Hajj to be something coming upon the Muslims, right? And so the thing is that there is some things that might have been from Arab culture, but once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it deen, it no longer is culture, right? That's why if someone chooses to wear a thobe, right, there's a big difference between wearing a thobe because he is wearing a thobe because it's Arab culture, or the fact that it was the most beloved of all clothes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The qamis, the longer piece of garment, is the most beloved of clothes to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it's not a cultural aspect, right? And there's someone that there very well could be linguistic differences about what the qamis really is, right? And so the point we have to be careful when we call people to Islam, that we call them to Islam. We don't have to have there's nothing wrong with having masajid in different parts of the Muslim world with the architecture of that local place, right? What Islam calls people to do, if any aspects of the culture go against the sacred law, right? That's where they have to be, moved to the side, right? But if people have other good customs that don't contradict sacred law, there's nothing wrong with customs, as long as it doesn't. In certain cases, it can be a proof in Sharia, right? In certain cases, certain rulings of Sharia where the urf is what determines the hukm, right? That as they say, that urf hakim. Like there's certain times when it can do that, right? So that he is the master of the Arabs and of the Ajam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He goes on to say, Nabiyun al-Amiru nahi fala ahadun abarra fi qawli la minhu wa la na'ami. That our Prophet, commander of right, forbidder of wrong, no soul kept his word more justly, whether yes or no. Right? So this is referred to when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would command people to do things and prevent them from doing things, that no person was more firm and true than him sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he would command and prohibit people to do things. Right? And for those, and someone might say that there's a hadith, that there's a narration that when the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had never said no, right, that he would never say no, and then it was written a line of poetry about that, that ما قال لا قط إلا في تشهده ولولا التشهد كان لأه نعم. That he never said no except in his, he said he never said no except in his tashahhud, yani when he's saying la ilaha illallah. Right, and if it wasn't for his tashahhud, his no would have been yes. Right, and this is related to the worldly affairs, that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was never ever asked about anything worldly except that he gave that person that thing. Right, that he never let someone down when they had a desire in him sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even when it was someone that didn't have a high position in the society. Right, that even if it was a slave girl had wanted to walk with him sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he would walk with her. Right, when someone wanted to shake his hand sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would never remove his hand until other people would remove their hands first. Right, and this is the inheritance that he's left behind for us, that in this day and age that has become so rare to see people that act upon this. Right, and this is why you see the book of Qadi Iyad is called Al-Shifa bi Ta'rif Huquq al-Mustafa. Right, the Shifa, the healing, by knowing with the knowledge of the hukuk and the rights of the chosen one, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? It's because every single problem in the world today, from the beginning to the end, it gets down to that point, is that people aren't following the sunnah. Right? And until people revive the sunnah within their lives, right, is that this is the only way that things are going to change, by following the sunnah. Right? There's been examples before in the time of the Sahaba where it was taking them too long, right, to have an opening and to overcome the enemy, right, and they were trying to figure out what's wrong. Why aren't we being given victory, right? Until they realized that some of the army had stopped using the siwak, right, and then, so that they were commanded then for everyone to go get a siwak, and the opponent army saw that they were all going down and cutting down things from the trees, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put fear in their hearts and they fled. Right? The point is very simple, that if we stick to our deen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us victory, despite the means. Right? وَعِدُّ لَهُمْ مَسْتَطَعْتُم مِّن قُوَّةٍ. Right? Allah commands us in the Quran to وَعِدُّ مَسْتَطَعْتُم interpretations to the ayat. Right? But one with the condition, it doesn't contradict the outward meaning. right? And then it be a true meaning that be related to something from the Sunnah. So some of them say, he mentions in the Sharh that وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأَوْلَى, means here that his last, meaning his next moment will be better for him than his first one. Right? This is what they mentioned. This is one of the meanings of this ayah in the Quran. So we'll go ahead and break there for Salat al-Asr. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الله
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد
Word interpretations to the ayat, right? But one with the condition it doesn't contradict the outward meaning, right? And that it be a true meaning that be related to something from the sunnah. So some of them say, he mentions in the sharah that وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى means here that his last, meaning his next moment will be better for him than his first one. Right? This is what they mentioned. This is one of the meanings of this ayah in the Quran. So we'll go ahead and break there for Salat al-Asr. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد
as if dots on his knowledge or diacritical marks on his wisdom, right? So they're saying they stand before him, right, at their had, right? There's only a certain way that they could go past, right? Just as Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam, that he reached the point he couldn't go past the Sidratul Muntaha. Naam, لِكُلٍّ مَقَامٍ مَعْلُومٍ. Everyone has an appointed station, right? Only the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam could go past there, right? Likewise, that the prophets and messengers compared to him sallallahu alaihi wasallam have a limit, right? And in the second part of what he says here, that min nuqtatil ilmi, right? From or like a nuqta is like a dot, right? So Imam al-Busayri here is saying that from the greatness of the knowledge of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that the knowledge of the other prophets and messengers, like to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's knowledge, is like a dot compared to, right, a whole lot of knowledge, right? A book, right? One dot compared to the book, right? And so the thing is, it's not belittling the Prophet's hasha, right? It's saying that no, they've reached incredible levels of knowledge, but compared to his knowledge, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is what Imam al-Busayri is saying, right? O min shaqatil hikami. Then he goes on to say that فَهُوَ الَّذِي تَمَّ مَعْنَاهُ وَصُورَتُهُ ثُمَّ اصْطَفَاهُ حَبِيبًا بَارِعُ النَّسَمِ. That he is the one that his ma'na, his meaning, and his surah and his outward form have become complete, right? And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the ma'na is related to his akhlaq, right? The fact that he was an orphan sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the fact that he grew up in a state that he didn't have a parent to teach him adab, right? But Allah and all of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put him in that position so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala there would be no way for anyone to say that he learned it from so and so. Right, this is why we see that this is one of the wisdoms why Nawfal, who was related to Sayyidatina Khadija, right, that he died very soon after he had told the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ about, when he had heard about his experience ﷺ in Ghar Hira, and he said that this is the namus, right, this is the angel that came to the previous prophets, right, and he said that he had died shortly after that, and the wisdom is that it was that if he hadn't had passed away, that people could have said, oh, he learned it from Nawfal. Right, and so likewise that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has been, Allah put him in certain situations, right? That he was an orphan, he didn't have a father. His mother died when he was very young, right? Also that it could be seen that he said, "Addabani Rabbi fa ahsana ta'dibi." That my Lord taught me adab, and he taught me in what a great adab that he taught me, right? So this is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? That he was completed, right, outwardly and inwardly, his akhlaq and his outward form. Munazzahun an sharikin fi mahasinihi fajawhar al-husni fihi ghayru munqasimi. That he is the one whose meaning incomparable, his beauty has no peer, right? The essence of beauty in itself is in his nature, right? So he said that he's munazzahun an sharikin. He has no partner in his beautiful attributes. And what he means here is that no one can attain his level, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for what he attained from beauty. فَجَوْهَرُ الْحُسْنِ فِيهِ غَيْرُ مُنْقَسِمِ. Right, so the jawhar of husn, right, is فِيهِ غَيْرُ مُنْقَسِمِ. If someone had, right, a diamond or some type of rare jewel, right, that it wasn't split, right, meaning that the highest ranks of kamalat, of greatness were for him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he says something important. دَعْ مَا دَعْتُ النَّصَارَ فِي نَبِيِّهِمِ وَاحْكُمْ بِمَا شِئْتَ مَدْحًا فِيهِ وَاحْتَكِمِ. Leave aside what the Christians have claimed for their prophet, right? Then praise him as you like, but do so wisely, right? And what did the Christians claim? They claimed that he was the Son of God, right? They claimed that he was the Trinity, that he was God, right? So he's saying that leave this, right? That the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was a man, right? But he wasn't like other men, right? The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had a heart, right? But when he slept, his heart didn't sleep, right? The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ saw, but he didn't see like other men. صَوُّوا صُفُوفُكُمْ فَإِنْ يَرَاكُمْ مِنْ خَلْفِ كَمَا أَرَاكُمْ مِنْ أَمَامِ. Right? Make your rows straight, For verily I see you from behind as I see you from in front of me. Right? So he saw Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but not like other people. Right? There was one time he was walking Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and a man was walking behind him and making fun of the way that he walked. Right? And the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam saw him from behind him without looking. He said, be like that. Right? And then the person was stuck. However, that awful face was that he was making. It was stuck like that for the rest of his life. He couldn't move that expression that was on his face. Right? And so the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he also would hear, but not like how other people heard. Right? And so that he was a man. Naam, innama ana basharun. Naam, naam. And so in the end of surah, in end of قل إنما أنا بشر مثلكم. Now, what's the important point? قل إنما أنا بشر. Say verily I'm a bashar. I'm a human being. نعم. قل إنما أنا بشر. أيوة. مثلكم. أيوة. يوحى إلي. Right? That I am a bashar like you. But what? يوحى إلي. Right? I've received wahi. Right? So he's like a human being. He's not we don't believe he has any divine attributes. Right? In terms of he's not eternal. Right? But that he receives wahi from Allah. Right? So he's different than other human beings. Right? So he goes on to say that leave what they've said. Right? The Nasara. Right? Don't say these things that over, right? And this is what the hadith, that many uses the hadith. Many people say that in these type of poems that people are overpraising the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Right? La tutruni. Right? Kama atara an-nasara Isa ibn Maryam. Right? Don't overpraise me. Don't be excessive in my praise. As the Christians have been excessive in the praise of the son of Isa ibn Maryam. Right? But what did they say? They said he was the son of God. No one says that the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was the son of God. Right? So the people they take that hadith out of form to say that people shouldn't praise him like in this form as Imam al-Busayri does. But that's not the meaning. That khalas, don't say what the Christians said. What did the Christians say? Right? So he goes on to say that وَانْصُبْ إِلَى ذَاتِهِ مَا شِئْتَ مِنْ شَرَفٍ وَانْصُبْ إِلَى قَدْرِهِ مَا شِئْتَ مِنْ عِظَمٍ. That ascribe to his essence what you wish of honor. Attribute to his exalted status what you will of greatness. This is what they say that the rank of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? That what does he mean by this? That you can describe what you want, right? That he has. It's a way of praising his qualities, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? Of all of his precious qualities and his greatness that he is, and how close he is to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Because they say the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is constantly increasing in rank, right? That even though he's attained what he's attained, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but he's constantly increasing in rank and drawing nearer to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, right? And he goes on in the next line to say that فَإِنَّ فَضْلَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ لَيْسَ لَهُ حَدٌّ فَيُعْرِبُ عَنْهُ نَاطِقٌ بِفَمِهِ. That truly the messenger of God's rank, right? Has no end, right? That cannot be overstated by 2 lips and a tongue. So what he's saying, the fadl of Rasulullah, right? The greatness of him, right? And the bounty of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, laysa lahu had, has no limit. For yu'ribu anhu natikum bifami, right? That no matter how much people praise him sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? That they will never reach the point where they truly have praised him, right? As he deserves to be praised. Right? And this is why that they say that no one knows the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ except Allah. No one knows the reality of his maqam or his closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except Allah. Right? And the closer one attains, people can have portions of this knowledge. And the more that they follow their sunnah, the more the more knowledge that they'll have of his sunnah. So the more knowledge that they'll have of him. Right? And these are the 2 ways that people get close to him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And to the extent that one loves him and follows his sunnah, will be to the extent that he knows him. If he loves him and follows him more and more, he'll have more knowledge and more knowledge and more knowledge of him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is what some of them say, that the meaning of the ayah in the Quran, وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى, that verily that the akhirah is better for you than the ula, right, than the first. Right? And as Imam al-Bajuri mentions in the Sharh, that this is what's called a tafsir ishari, Right? There's a hadith where the Prophet Muhammad is related. He said that prepare ourselves by taking the means. We can't leave the means and say Allah will give us victory. Right? But if we take the means, right, and we do so for the sake of Allah, and we have strong connection with the Rasulullah, that nothing can stop a believer. Right? And this is why they have in some of the madhahib that if the Muslims reach the level of 12,000, that it is haram from anyone to flee from jihad once they reach this number. Right? In normal positions, in normal times, that if the army is more than double, right, and they feel that by retreating they can position themselves a better way, it's permissible, right? If the army, if they're outnumbered 2 to 1, but the point is here is that the point is here is that that by implementing the sunnah, right, is the way by which true change is going to come. So he goes on to say, هو الحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته لكل حول من الأهوال مقتحم. And incidentally, that the Burdah used to be written in the masjid of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, right, before people came and removed it from the masjid. But it used to be written in the masjid, right, the Burdah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And this is the only line of poetry that's still left, if this is even still left, right, where he says that he is the beloved whose intercession is hoped for, as arms against a host of relentless calamities. Huwa al-Habib, right? He is the beloved. Alladhi turja shafa'atuhu, whose intercession is hoped for, right? Likulli hawlin min al-ahwali muqtahimi, right? For every howl is like a frightful experience, right? So every frightening experience that comes to one suddenly. Yani he's referring to the day of judgment, when everyone will go to all the other prophets and messengers, and they'll always say, myself, myself, until they finally reach the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He says, I'm the one for it, right? And so he is the Habib Allah, he is the beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the shafa'ah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is something that is an absolute. If someone dies on Iman, it's an amr qat'i that he's going to receive the shafa'ah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Right? He will definitely receive it. Right, and the shafa'ah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is different levels. Of the shafa'ah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is that the maqam mahmud is this praiseworthy station is on the day of judgment, when everyone is standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the sun becomes low and the sweat comes up to the person according to his deeds. Is that this is the shafa'ah. This is the maqam mahmud. This is the greatest shafa'ah for the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he will make intercession to some of these people, for the people there, for them to hurry on to the next world. Right? So there's shafa'ah for people that will already be in Jannah, that Allah raise their rank in Jannah. There's a shafa'ah for people who deserve to go into the hellfire, but through his shafa'ah they will enter into Jannah. There's a shafa'ah from the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ of people that will be in the hellfire and they will be taken out by his shafa'ah ﷺ. Right? So there's different levels, right, of intercession. Some of them are only for him ﷺ, and others are for those from his ummah that share them. Right? There's certain people that do meritorious things and receive the ability, such as the shaheed, to make shafa'ah for other people. Right? And so the point is that he is the Habib whose shafa'ah is hoped for. Right? This is we have to hope for his shafa'ah ﷺ. Right? This is one of the reasons that we have to establish a close relationship in the dunya. Right? That we hope on that day of judgment, when it will be in dire need. Right? That there'll be no one else to turn. There'll be no one else to help us. Right? Then there'll be no one else there except him ﷺ, right, to help us escape from the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he goes on to say, دَعَا اللَّهِ فَالْمُسْتَمْسِكُونَ بِهِ مُسْتَمْسِكُونَ بِحَبْلٍ غَيْرِ مُنْفَصِمِ, that he called on God, right? Whoever clings to him clings to a rope that will never unravel or break. Right, so the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ called us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Naam, ud'u ila rabbika bil hikmati wal mau'izati al hasana, that call to your Lord, right, with wisdom. Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati wal mau'izati al hasana, that call to the path of your Lord, right, with wisdom and a good admonition. Right, so he is the one who called us. He's da'ina. He's the one who called us. Fal mustamsikuna bihi. Istimsak is to hold tightly onto something, right? So those who hold tightly onto his sunnah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is what we need. And he used the word istimsak here because there's a difference between normally holding onto something and holding tightly onto something, right? that holding tightly onto something is an indication here that every moment of our day we have to hold tightly to the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? We can't ever at one moment let go. Right? Just as someone is climbing a ladder to a high place, that every rung he goes, he has to hold tightly such that he doesn't fall. And likewise with his sunnah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, mustamsikun bihablin ghayri munfasimi, that they are holding on to a rope that will never ravel or never break. Right? We have the urwatul wuthqa, right? The firmest handhold. Right? Everything else that people rely upon will break, right? But the deen, right, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us will never break. Right? If we hold to the deen that Allah ta'ala has given us, it will never break. فاق النبيين في خلق وفي خلق ولم يدانوه في علم ولا كرم, that his form and character surpassed even the previous prophets, and none have approached him in knowledge or nobility. Right? That he, right, of everything that came before, right, of all the prophets and messengers that came before, he surpassed them in khalq, in his physical beauty, right, as we mentioned previously, right, in his khuluq, in his character. وَلَمْ يُدَانُوهُ, they didn't come close to him, right, fi ilmin, in his knowledge, in his generosity, right. And so that this is what they say, that all of the previous books of that have been revealed to mankind are gathered in the Quran Kareem, right? All of the different mu'jizat that were dispersed amongst the previous messengers were in, he was given a mu'jizah similar to them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And his ummah was honored thus by that. What they say that what is permissible for to be a mu'jiza of a nabi is permissible to be a karama, or a breaking of the norm of one of his salihin of his ummah, right? And so the thing is that likewise that just as all of the other mu'jizat of the anbiya are gathered in him sallallahu alaihi wasallam, likewise that there will be people from his ummah, right, that also have that all of the other mu'jizat of the anbiya will somehow come up, it will be a karama on someone of his ummah. Right, and we see in the stories in the seerah, right, of where a man was thrown into the fire, like Sayyidina Ibrahim, right, and it didn't burn him from his connection to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and many other examples, right. So he goes on to say, وَكُلُّهُم مِّن رُسُولِ اللَّهِ مُلْتَمِسٌ غَرْفًا مِّنَ الْبَحْرِ أَوْ رَشْفًا مِّنَ الدِّيَمِ, right, and they all seek from the Messenger of God cupfuls from his ocean, or sips from his unceasing rain. Right? And so that this is a sign here that all of the prophets and messengers, multanmisum min rasulillahi, even the prophets and messengers are taking from the ocean of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? And he says, gharfan min al-bahri. Gharfan is to take like a handful of water. Right? And rashfan is min al-diyami, is to suck water with one's mouth, like this. Right? So it's a way of saying that some of them took a whole lot of portion, whereas others took not as much. Right? The ulul azam of the messengers, right? Which is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam first and foremost. Sayyidina Isa, Sayyidina Musa, Sayyidina Nuh, and Sayyidina Ibrahim. Right? That they have a greater portion than the others. Right? That even though that all of the prophets and messengers have reached kamal, we believe this, that they have reached a state of kamal. And to attribute something to a prophet or messenger other than kamal could lead someone to kufr. Right? So they all reached kamal, right? But others are akmal, or more complete, or more perfect than others. Right? And likewise from his ummah. Right? That even though now we have people that are from different tariqas, we have people who are from different backgrounds, we have people that have different mashayikh that they take from. Right? But all of them go back to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? And this is an important thing for us to realize. Right, in our everyday actions, that we keep in mind that it is all from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right, whether someone's from a different madhab, right, or from someone from a different understanding, as long as it's a correct understanding, right, that it all goes back, all of the asanid go back to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right, that all of the asanid of the people of tasawwuf go back